My name is Helvi Iileka. I'm currently acting director at the Namibia Energy Institute. And I will present to you today on minimum performance standards, which we have just recently developed. In 2014, the cabinet passed a resolution to say that we must be established as the Namibia Energy Institute, that to facilitate and conduct research into renewable energy and energy efficiency, also covering all other energy sector, and also to develop materials, standards, reports, and disseminate information with regard to energy and energy efficiency in the country. And also to facilitate the collaboration between other stakeholders and the Ministry of Mines and Energy. We have 4 centers. We have a center of oil and gas, a center of renewable energy and energy efficiency, which I'm heading, a center of electricity supply, and a center of nuclear sciences. Obviously now the idea is to add a center of green hydrogen. What is our role? With all these pillars of the centers, we conduct training and capacity building. If you are aware, we are responsible, for example, together with the NTA, developing the curriculum for solar technologies. We are doing research, and when we are developing that, for example, curriculum for TVET, we are also now in the process of developing the curriculum for training of trainers, which is now based at NUST, all in renewable energy now, but currently the focus is only on solar technology. We do, in terms of capacity building as well, we, for example, established the Master of Sustainable Energy Systems, which is now currently learning at NUST. We do research and development. We also, after research and development, we assist basically the ministry to develop policies and develop regulations. We also manage projects on behalf of the Ministry of Mines and Energy, and we also conduct advisory services. For example, we are busy doing NamWater want to implement renewable energy at all their water schemes, and we are basically assisting them to see how they can implement it. Currently, we are reporting to the Executive Dean of Engineering, so we involve our colleagues from engineering whenever we do research. Performance standards is that Namibia has ratified the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which is the UNFCCC, and the Paris Agreement. So one of the measures that were identified, for example, in the NDC, in the National Determined Contribution, is to increase energy efficiency and demand-side management measures. So there is a demand there. So in 2020, a review of potential for implementation of energy efficiency policy strategies was conducted in Namibia by the U4E, Country Savings Assessment, for example. And then there are a number of appliances which were identified, for example, lighting. For example, we had incandescent bulbs. This at the SADC level, there is already now a moratorium, which we are busy implementing, that all incandescent bulbs need to be replaced with energy efficiency, with the LED lighting, for example, to basically at the middle income households to understand within the project framework the market overview of the refrigerators. And what we find out, I think it's true, or So, Mr. Nepo, did you mention that you are manufacturing refrigerators?
No, the ventilation part, the ducting.
Okay, okay. So our findings is that no manufacturers of refrigerators in the country yet, and the Namibian market is dominated by refrigeration appliances manufactured and imported from South Africa. And also, we have a number of companies that are importing. For example, at the middle income, well, our findings was that normally they are KIC, Whirlpool, Snow Masters, Unilever, a number of those fridges, and basically Fintech, Atlantic Distributor, Namibia Audio Maker, Manrico International, they came out on top as a as importers who are basically distributing. And the supply chain is really that you have, for example, an importer, customs, and then household appliances where you have local distributors and furnitures and household consumers. They are basically buying from that. So with our key findings, basically, we could find that, for example, if we don't do anything in terms of energy efficiency, then we could really import or the market. You can see the trend, a number of refrigerators which are imported. So, for example, number of residential replaced. So we need to implement the energy efficiency. So what we found is that the market projection using the economic model projects a growth of refrigeration equipment market size of 38.44 by 2030, translating to about 245,000 new units will be added either due to market growth or end of life replacement between 2024 and 2030. So a successful minimum performance standards can improve energy efficiency by 30 compared with the equipment of the market today. This would result, for example, in 27 gigawatt per year of saving by 2030. So this is almost what we're importing every year. So it showed that the residential refrigerators in Namibia have the potential to reduce about 20.9 gigawatt on an annual basis. It's just basically to say. According to our market survey also, I would like to also thank the Ministry of Trade with the ozone. We found that, for example, now the harmful gases currently are not really imported in the country. For example, we can see in terms of refrigerator, 93.3% of the refrigerator in the country they are using already are 600. And we can see, for example, in terms of refrigerator freezer, there are still few fridges that are using, for example, R34 and a little bit of harmful gases, but we really could prove that with the ozone, with the Kigali Amendment, the refrigerators in the country are improving. For example, just to say the key findings is that there are currently no regulation that are promoting the uptake of energy efficient, and also in terms of refrigerators, and there were also no local standards, except now that Namibia ratified the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol and the phasing out of the substances that deplete ozone layer. Kigali Amendment, we found that it's really being implemented, these harmful gases, but we found that there are still few, but we are saying that we can basically maybe roll out the energy efficiency. I'm actually done. What we have done with this project, for example, we concluded with the market assessment. We also have put together a technical committee, basically chaired by our ozone office. And we reviewed already and adopted the minimum performance, the harmonized mandatory minimum energy performance standards and the labeling scheme based on the South African. But the harmonized MEP is based on IEC 62, it's suggested by ELA cooling project. So stakeholder, we are actually in the process of conducting stakeholder and raising awareness. So we've trained the NAMRA team, for example, the other day, on this week, and all the stakeholders basically for implementation and rolling out, because the project earmarked to get funding from GCF for the implementation. So